Do you think actually anyone has made it up to 8 hours on this live stream broadcast, Mark?
I think so. Not
Really?
us. Yeah,
Well,
we certainly haven't.
we had to do separate hours from the expansion draft. I look really weird with this new light. I'm not gonna lie to you. Under this new light. Welcome to Face Off Hockey Show. It's the Scotty Waz and Mark show.
Yeah.
As Johnny P is off celebrating, I'm thinking, because he had a birthday.
He did have a birthday.
So congratulations to Johnny. Proud of him. Proud of him for making it another year.
Another year.
Exactly. In a bit, we will have Sean Leahy. He is formerly of Puck Daddy, and we'll see what he's up to. I think this is his first public appearance, at least podcast hockey-wise, since the happenings.
Yes, probably. Yeah, I believe so. I haven't been following him on a day-to-day basis. Just following him.
Just following him
where he goes. That sort of thing.
Well, this is all a part of the fuck Mark Batanzo situation that has been brewing between, and hopefully between you two we can figure this whole damn thing out. Because you know I love you boys, both of you, and I'm mad that you're fighting, kind of.
I didn't know that we were having any issues, but okay. We'll lay it down.
You have been
live on the show, and we will hash out all the issues.
Yes, exactly. But first, you were not with us because you're starting that whole first step into baby daddiness. Didn't sound right, but you're starting your whole fatherly figure. How was that?
I got my necklace that says "Daddy" on it. Yeah, it was really more like a choker.
But this is getting really weird.
Yeah, that's what makes it official.
Of course.
But yeah, we so the first baby shower was in New Hampshire. The second one will be down here later on in the summer, but the first one was this past weekend. So we flew up, had the party on Saturday, and then spent a few more days in Newport, Rhode Island, for a baby moon, as they call it.
Interesting. Is this a new phenomenon?
I don't know. I had heard of it for the first time from Brittany. So, from what I understand, it's a little vacation that you take before the baby comes, and then you never take any more vacations, at least for a few years.
Sure. I guess I don't know. We didn't have that.
Yeah. Well,
because I was gainfully unemployed because the Canadian government doesn't like Americans taking Canadian jobs, even if it is in supermarket retail.
Weren't you also getting that oil money back then?
I did get $400, even though I wasn't really technically a citizen.
That was fantastic. It's like the easiest $400 ever.
I don't know. We won't get into that.
Fair enough.
But that's interesting. Well, I'm glad you guys. It seemed like you guys had a festive time.
Yeah, we got the only 2 days in Newport, Rhode Island that apparently it was raining on Monday and very cold on Tuesday, and sandwiched around those days were amazing, sunshiny, beautiful days. So we left today, and it was like, I don't know, 82, not a cloud in the sky. But we still had a good time. We went and saw some mansions. Apparently Newport
I didn't
is
know
like
you're making that kind of money.
Yeah, we took
Blog
a look
Talk
around,
Radio was going well for you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, those paychecks just are rolling in. All these listeners and all these advertisements. But yeah, apparently all of these aristocrats in the 1800s and early 1900s would go and build these mansions up in Newport, Rhode Island, and try and outdo one another. And now they're just places that poor people like us go to see and gawk at.
I've heard of these this joke of the aristocrats. Seems great.
Yeah.
Seems great.
I've heard it many different ways, but it always ends up the same way.
Exactly. The aristocrats. So, that was fun. That's good. You're ready. You're ready into babydom. You're down the home stretch now.
I know we're into the third trimester. Really,
has the house been baby proofed?
And this kid isn't gonna be walking for a while. I don't need to baby proof anything yet.
Solid.
Yeah. I mean, he even if he comes out, he's not going to be able to rip anything off the walls,
Right.
and he's certainly not going to be tall enough to run into any tables. So
At least
let's be
at least not
honest.
till he's 15.
Right. Yeah. I don't need to worry about any sharp corners for a while.
That's good.
But yeah, so we have the nursery all mostly set up. We're waiting on a chair, one of those glidey chairs, which we used to
Ooh.
call rocking chairs, which apparently you can over-engineer a rocking chair. I found that
What?
out
How?
by adding stuff that probably isn't required. A rocking chair and a glider are essentially the same thing, except one is about
One
$200 more expensive than the other one.
Well, one doesn't actually tip back. It's a gliding it's like remember those solo flexes or the Nordic track.
Do I?
The Nordic track.
Yeah.
We had one at the Roosevelt Housestead. Right behind the couch.
Yeah.
So basically it's all the failed Nordic track parts and
Mhm.
you just put it into a glide chair to
That's true.
repurpose them.
You know, now that you mention it, the one positive, I guess, is between a rocking chair and a glider is the glider doesn't actually leave the floor at all, so you can't crush anyone's toes or fingers
Or
when
a
you
baby.
rock back and forth, or an actual human, tiny
Yes.
human child. So there's one positive, I guess. But I mean, other than that, they're like the same thing.
It's really
They're made out of wood. Sometimes they have padding.
Sometimes, yes, exactly. Rocking chairs could be rocking chair that isn't a recliner could be the worst. An actual rocking chair
Like
in itself.
a wooden rocking
A
chair.
wooden rocking chair could be the worst thing in humanity.
Why do you say that?
It's so uncomfortable, and you're always worried about breaking the damn thing. You know, you get kids living in shoes. I don't know. I read a bunch of nursery rhymes together, and it was a weird time for me back then. But,
Yeah.
you know, what can you do?
Hmm.
But no, glad that you had the baby vacation
Mhm.
or whatever the hell it was called. I forgot
Yep.
what it was called. What was
Baby
it called?
moon. A
Baby
baby
moon.
moon, like a honeymoon, except
Right.
a baby moon.
Sure. Shouldn't that have happened after you have the baby though?
Yeah, and you know, you're probably right, but I didn't make it up, so I'm gonna go with
I don't
what was told to me. What was told to me. Yes.
Perfect. Well, you're winning that marriage game. I know that for sure.
Mhm.
Uh,
That's right. I listen sometimes, and I follow through sometimes. I'm like
Perfect.
better than 50%.
Hey, that's Hall of Fame numbers right
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
Like even if you were 33%, that's Hall of Fame numbers.
Yeah.
So you'd be up there with Tony Gwynn and all that stuff. So good. Anything else? Or was it just baby stuff?
It was pretty much that was between Wednesday. We left on Friday, so between Wednesday, Wednesday and Thursday of last week, I was away because we were taking childbirth classes.
Mm. What
which
did you have to do?
awesome.
Just sit behind there and go, "Come on, honey, push, push."
Yeah, I clap and
Have you ever seen
Support.
that bit? Have you ever seen that bit about the first base coach and how useless he is? think it's
no,
Hugh-
but I need to.
Hugh Fink from like the '90s is talking about how useless they mic'd up a first base coach. He's like, "This is all we got. Come on, Bobby. Come on, Bobby." And then obviously that was it, and that was the whole bit.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's pretty much all. So I'm there. It's funny because they have like this big presentation, like a PowerPoint presentation with videos. It's a very impressive presentation. And then there's certain parts where specifically there's this big logo that pops up on the screen that says, "Partners, pay attention to this. You need to do this. You need to be supportive. You need to make sure that your wife doesn't overreact. You need to like that stays calm. You need to make sure, there's all these things, but they're in very obvious slides that make sure that we're paying attention because obviously we're stupid and we need things to be spelled out for us.
yeah, no, I didn't take any of those courses.
Hey, I mean, like Bill Cosby said,
No, let's not cite him. He has done atrocities to people.
yeah, but he did have children, and the children turned out okay. I think we don't know,
Yeah.
but it's natural childbirth. It's something that humans are supposed to know naturally, and yet we go to take classes on how to do it.
There you go. Well, it's much better than my week.
Yeah, well, let's hear about your week.
Work, because I had myself a weekend at work overnights
Mm.
and signing new lease papers as
Yay.
we will be moving into a bigger place here in Grand Forks.
I already see that you're in studio number 4 for the year.
No, this is still studio whatever 3. I'm usually over there, or you're
Mm.
usually looking back there at those pictures. They're usually in the background.
I see.
I've tilted it this way because last week Jen's son came up, so we had to make this room for him.
I
So we had to rearrange. As you can see, the air mattress right over yonder on my left shoulder here.
Mm. Yes, I see.
So, yeah, and then I'll be moving into a permanent studio.
Yes. Yeah.
Studio 97 is what we will be dubbing that as. Starting on Sunday, we make the move, and God only knows what the hell's going to happen at that point there. So
And when is this move occurring?
we have between. Well, we could start on Sunday, and then we're here in this place until the end of the month. But we're probably going to be out by the time I go to Calgary mid-August. So
All right.
yeah, so we got we needed the room. Like this place is tiny as hell. So like the kitchen and living room and everything is so much bigger. It's quite astounding what you can do with 1,100 square feet.
Yeah, it is. It's quite a step up as it goes to quality of life and being able to have your own space when you need it and not killing each other. There's that too.
That Oyo room is going to be tremendous. I will say that right off the hop.
That's the second bedroom, right? I mean, you're just essentially going to have one master bedroom and then the
These-
Oyo room and then maybe another room if there's room, if there's space.
It'll be the Oyo slash studio room. So one half will be studio, and then the other 3/4 will be Oyo. Although, Mark, if you didn't listen to last weekend, why would you have? You're on this show usually. Oyo's has stopped production of NHL figures for these at least until August. So
Gotta be kidding.
I have panicked and I have reached out to Oyo and say, "Hey, talk me off this ledge before I jump." And
Anything? Did they ever respond? I feel
Yeah,
like you
no,
write
they-
them
no,
a
they
lot of
res-
letters.
they respond a lot. Like they're
Okay.
like they DM me and said, "Hey, we didn't do our Kickstarter, but we appreciate your enthusiasms." It's like, yeah, no problem. I have nothing to live for. So get at me, Oyo. But yeah, no, they're gonna start don't ask me how. I found their production calendar for 2017.
I'm not gonna ask you how.
No, nor should you. Yeah, August 2017 is when they start their Generation 4 of Oyo figures. So don't you dare miss it. Generation 4 of Oyo. So other than that, that's been about it. I went bowling last Wednesday. That was a hoot.
Yeah, I saw the pictures from that. It's good to see that you haven't lost a step.
No, it's been a year, and I still kept on average of that 135 average.
That's
So,
impressive.
Yeah,
It's like riding a bike.
it is. It's like
but
riding a
not
bike.
while bowling. That would be tough.
That would be more impressive.
hmm
And they'd probably kick me out of the lanes. Sir, don't bring your bike in here. But I'm the only one here. Don't bring your bike in here. Sir, why you don't even have a brake? This is just a tire. You're just rolling a tire down the lanes. Sir, don't roll the tire down the lanes.
Do you think you'd play better if you were biking at pins or actually rolling a ball at pins?
I'm still going with rolling a ball because you got that oil in the lanes.
hmm
And then the lanes will just screw you up because you got oil in the tire and then the bike and then it'll flip over.
Okay.
Then you're ass over tea kettle at that point. Who wants that?
It would be funny. I'd probably watch that on YouTube.
I wonder where ass over tea kettle came from. I really do. I do. That's like an idiom.
Is that a saying, or did you just make
Yeah.
that up?
No, that's a saying. It's
looking
one of
this
the
up.
it's one of those idioms.
Oh, it is. Is it? I don't
Yeah.
think so. All right.
Ass over tea kettle. What does Google have for me? Come on. All right. Arse over tea kettle is obviously the British saying.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going? Ass
Well,
over
I guess
tea-
in the U.S. we changed it to head over heels.
Oh. Well then.
Apparently.
Tumbling upside down or being frantic. So,
The Brits would use tea kettle in that way.
of course they would. Why
It
wouldn't
makes
they?
no sense.
Makes all the sense. They love their tea. Uh, uh, yeah. So, man, we already got boxes packed up in the living room because we're so ready to get out of this place.
That's good though. I mean,
Yeah. Well,
when we
half the shit is Jen's book, so that's really the biggest thing.
moved for the second time this year, or really within
Yeah.
a year, it was the second time within a year, but it was last year. We had most of our stuff still boxed up, which was nice. So I don't know how quickly. I mean, you guys have really only been in the same place together for 2 years, right? For 2 years or less than
Ye
2 years.
18 months.
18
She's
months.
lived here for 6 years.
Okay, so
So
she was a little more spread out probably,
yeah.
but you know, it's easy. How are you? Okay, what kind of packer are you? Are you the kind of person that goes into a room and says all of this stuff goes back into a similar room and puts all the things in the box and then goes and puts that box into the room in the new house that's going to be allocated for that function? Or do you like going through your things as you pack them up?
Motherfucker, I got jerseys I'm looking at right now that I'm just gonna put into a hockey bag and roll over, and put into the new
Exactly.
closet. That's
Thank you.
all. Why? Why else would I need to do anything else?
Thank
It's
you.
it's like I'm not. First off, you've known me for so long. I'm not that meticulous. I mean, hell, I'll leave honey mustard packets 2 years later, just for the gag.
That's true.
Um, so yeah, no, like I'm yeah, not that meticulous. Well, the only time I was meticulous was moving to Calgary is because I just unloaded like 7 bags of clothes. I just donated to Goodwill because yeah, I didn't need them and I didn't want to take them with me with the U-Haul. So I scaled down in that, but I at least had 2 months before to figure out what the hell I was going to do with it. So
Mm-hmm.
like a big move. That's when you really cut down.
Yeah.
Small move, like we're
But when you're
going 3 blocks, four
yeah,
blocks.
when you're moving into a bigger space, in my mind, I always feel like it's better to bring everything and then sort it out later. But then, as with our move this time, we brought everything and then I never sorted things out later
Well,
yet.
listen.
So there's still time for later. It's still later right now.
Exactly. It's
There's
it's
still more later.
still more later, guys. Still more later. That's Mark Patanzo, 2017. Still more later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna pack crap up and hope for the best. It's a matter of me and trying to figure out how much crap I can pack into a Pontiac Grand Prix for a trip before I have to be like, yeah, I guess I better rent a U-Haul.
Is that a unit of measure for you?
Exactly.
One GP.
One one PGP plus distance equals what? Show your work.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's exciting that you guys are moving to a new place. I'm interested to see what the new studio is going to look like because each one's a little bit different. As you can see behind me, I have two things on the wall. I mean,
Yeah.
there's going to be more things on the wall, but I decided that I needed two things behind me for now, with more to come. So I'm excited to see what you're going to do with yours.
Well, yeah, pretty much when I got in here, like Jen had her stuff all articulated out, like the pictures behind me. I'm like, oh, okay, well I'll use that as accoutrement. But those are going to go into her side room now, and I'll have my side room. And then yeah, that'd be good times for all. And then we'll have stuff hanging in our living room. It's gonna be a fun time. We actually get to hang bigger, better stuff. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to design my own room full of Oyos. That's essentially what it is. Let's not kid ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, we're waiting on Sean Leahy. He is formerly of Yahoo Buck Daddy. We'll be talking to him about things and stuff and tings and stuff. We will see what he has to offer, what he's going onward, and why the hell are we talking about NHL in 1992 and 93? There's been at least one place I've seen a retrospective of this, and I don't understand why, in all honesty. My whole thing is that I don't think it's the greatest year of NHL, but it is a year of NHL. I guess it's the first year before the dead Puck era. And then yeah, that's that. I don't remember much in 92, 93. I'm pretty sure the Caps lost to the Penguins in the playoffs, but that's about it.
Probably true.
Yeah. So I don't know. We will see what happens then. But until then, we will hit up some news because we will be waiting for Mr. Leahy. Also, he will be taking down Yahoo from the inside.
You mean Oath?
Sure. Yeah. No. Is it Oath now?
Yeah, it's the Yahoo AOL merger. It's Oath now, I believe. And Verizon. The whole Verizon Yahoo AOL merger is, I think,
That's
Oath.
what that reference meant. I was listening to Puck Soup, and he made an Oath network, and I'm like, what is that? And I don't pay attention to Yahoo all that much. So
Yeah, the only reason I know for sure is because the AOL building across the street from where I work changed their AOL logo to an Oath logo, and I thought that was extremely weird. But now I know why.
Oath or Oath? Because I
Like
think
Oath.
both apply.
Like an oath, not like an oaf, like Ally Afridi.
Oh no, that logo is pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's
If
Oath.
you didn't know any better, you might think it's a cult.
Well, let's be honest. Who's to say it's not a cult? It is Verizon we're talking about after all.
Yep. So,
Some injury news.
mhm.
Nolan Patrick, second overall pick, who was plagued with injuries last year in the WHL, has been plagued with injuries in his rookie season. He missed camp because he was healing up from surgery, and then he had to deal with a facial infection, which turned out to be a boil.
This is just so good. I'm so happy.
This kid is he's doing great, doing great
boil.
already. A boil, and he had
He's
to have
just
it
getting
last.
ready for Hocus Pocus, for his part in Hocus Pocus in the fall, when it turns October.
Yes, exactly. Weird. I find it odd. I don't know what the hell. Like a boil. It was a gummy bear. Turns into a Simpsons bit.
Who gets a boil these days? And why? Who calls it? Like, how do you get a boil?
I
Do you
don't
just
know.
not wash your face? I mean, this isn't like, it's not like ringworm, right? What is a boil? Do we know what a boil is and how one gets a boil?
A boil is often caused by infected hair follicles. Bacteria from the infection form an abscess or pocket of pus. A boil can become large and cause severe pain. Most boils often happen where there is hair and rubbing. So it's a
Okay, so that
severely
makes sense.
ingrown hair, is what it sounds like.
So essentially, he wore his helmet and he didn't wash his hair for many days in a row, which is disgusting.
Well, if we're gonna get a little vulgar on the Scotty screen share, because why wouldn't we? That's this kind of podcast. So here's a picture of a boil. This is how how it boils down. So you have a normal hair follicle with nothing. Then you have an infected hair follicle like this, and then you have an open hair follicle like this. So this is the boil area. This is the infected. It is almost like an ingrown hair. It kind of looks like so.
Yeah.
He had to shave and take some tweezers to it. Like I don't
Right.
know.
Is that really stopping you? It's stopping him from playing? Is this that bad?
Apparently, it got so. I assume it got infected and went to like some bad cavities, and not the teeth cavities, but like I don't know, like his sinuses. And
So
became
they're saying that
infected
this
way?
boil is on his face. Is it not like
That's what I've heard.
hair, or is it like facial hair, or is he not old
I am-
enough to have facial hair?
He's kind of old enough to have facial hair. He went back on the ice in Winnipeg, so there's that. He's actually skating again, thank God.
Is this one of the more embarrassing things that you can be held off the ice for? I mean,
I would
it's
say
literally
so.
you. Everyone now knows that you have terrible hygiene. That's essentially what happened.
I would say so. The quote that the Flyers had that the boil/abscess had been assessed, and oh no, I'm sorry. The abscess/boil has been addressed and he's doing well. The Flyers revealed Friday night.
The boil is doing well, or Neil, or I keep wanting to call him Neil Patrick Harris, but
I
Nolan
know.
Patrick is doing well.
Yeah. I guess so. The 18-year-old was held off the ice Thursday due to what the club originally referred to as an infection in his face. So,
Oh boy, Nolan Patrick, good for you.
getting off to an inauspicious start in Philadelphia, because that won't sicken the people who cheer for that team.
I mean, it won't. They've seen
No.
worse.
No, absolutely. I love all these things. Looks like Nolan Patrick has recovered from his boil. Flyers say Nolan Patrick's doing well after face infection. Nolan Patrick had surgery 10 days before the NHL draft. Says health-wise, he's great. The Broad Street Hockey during their Monday morning flyby said, "Be sure to properly lance all boils." So there you go.
Most filthy animals think that they have nothing wrong with them, so they'll fit right in Philly.
He'll be right there, brother. He'll be right there, ready to go. Speaking of right there, ready to go, ladies and gentlemen, for this first public podcast appearance, I think since his firing by Yahoo inauspiciously and AOL's refusal to accept him, Leahy, everybody. Hi, Sean. You talk to them. You talk to them.
It's a radio show.
I was just thinking of an old school cell phone provider that I can say, go blank.
Go singular.
Go singular, yeah. Go singular.
Go track phone.
When I went to the office a couple weeks ago to return my Yahoo laptop, I thought about wearing like a T-Mobile shirt, but I couldn't find one on eBay in time. So
you should have somehow like printed up a Lyco shirt and walked in there with
print a Netscape shirt out. Or something.
Yeah, hell yeah. This is my
Kick
job,
it old
bitch.
school.
So last time we talked to you was the draft. And now you're a free agent. How's the free agent lifestyle? Are you like Yager? Are you like Yager in that you have millions of dollars?
Of course. Okay, who doesn't these days? I mean, come on. Have you seen the economy? Jesus.
Sure. It's doing great. Doing
Yeah,
fantastic.
It's great. Yeah. It's been well, I guess it couldn't have happened at a better time considering there's nothing going on in hockey, so we're not all rushing out to write up stories about those third line wingers getting signed by Calgary or whatever, so
Or Boyle's on faces. You could have been
yeah.
The face of Boylegate is what you could have been.
Look, it happened to an 18-year-old kid, so it's just like he had a pimple that just blew up. I mean, it's happened to all of us,
I guess, but you don't call it an infection in the face. You get some Stridex pads and you fucking deal with it.
Well, I mean, I guess he was doing on ice stuff, or he was going to do on ice stuff, right? So they couldn't really hide that. It's not like he had a bad bruise on a lower part of his body that could have been covered by equipment. If he had a boil on his face, he's like that woman that was on Seinfeld that Elaine had to sit with the goiter coming out of the side of her head.
Yes, exactly. It's an upper body injury, and we just don't talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and look, if a puck hits that, who wants to be around when that thing splats all over the place? It'd be like it'd be like Double Dare, the green slime just coming out everywhere.
You can't say that on television.
Yeah, that's true. Good old Alanis Morissette. But yeah, the summertime is so dull that people are doing retrospectives of the 1992-93 season.
Why? It's not even like an anniversary.
Yeah, it's 25 years. Been 25 years since the.
Didn't we do that like 20 years ago? Like 5 years ago when it was the 20th anniversary?
Probably, but they're still loving it. At least the score.com is, because they're doing a whole retrospective of it. Day by day, they're breaking it down, Sean Leahy.
So is it just like 3 words and then like 7 tweets and that's the whole story?
Yes, exactly it. It's 3 words, 7 tweet, and then like an interview somebody else did with the person they're talking about, like Chris Kontos. Like TB Live did a interview with Chris Kontos at like his Shake Shack in Kenora, Ontario. And then
he was managing that night? Or?
Exactly. It was a light night because they closed early due to Canada Day festivities. So then the Score just reprocessed that article. But there's a book out on it too. I assume it's the author who's doing this stuff, but there's a book that Jen read and said, wow, it's being...
Well, that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. That guy was on Wish's podcast a couple years ago when the book came out. Probably during the 20th anniversary of the 92-93 season.
Probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, the weird thing is like Jen read this and she's like, wow, this is trying too hard. I'm like,
So what's so special about the 92-93 season that like I don't remember doing this for the 91-92 season last year?
I think it's because a lot of people around the same age that was kind of a pretty momentous year in hockey. Obviously, it was the last time Canada won the Cup. You had the Penguins going for a 3-peat and David Abalik and his stupid self scoring the goal in Game 7.
I'm glad you didn't disparage his helmet, because if you disparaged the Yofa helmet, we sure would have words.
I couldn't, because he, living on Long Island, he was my favorite Islander player. And actually, the summer before that, he and a couple other Islanders, Pat LaFontaine, Derek King, I think it was Pat. No, I don't know if Pat LaFontaine was there. Derek King was there. Milan Hinlicka, remember the goalie? He was on the Thrashers a couple years later.
Wow, yeah.
Yes.
They were part of a charity like softball game where they played. There's this Long Island team that they're all blind, so they played like beeper softball. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that.
What?
Yeah, and they played at the local park where I played Little League, and I met Bollock after the game. I still have the signed hockey card from the 89-90 top set.
Ooh, that's a good set.
So, and then like 7-8 months later, he breaks my heart.
What's the etiquette when you play against a blind softball team?
Thank you.
Do you let them win, or do you? I mean, is it a disgrace
were
if you don't
good.
try?
Well, no, because you're playing blind too. The players had blindfolds, and so they weren't playing without blindfolds. I mean, come on.
Well, then you're at a serious disadvantage.
They're doing bat flips, and it's not like the other team's going to notice, right? So they're hitting bombs into the lake. No, they're playing with blindfolds too. So like they're running all over the place. They're tripping on themselves. It was a fun time. They're trying to, they got the first base coach saying, stop when they're getting close to the base. So it's pretty interesting to watch. Yeah.
Is there video of this? Because that would have been a delight to be there.
I'm sure they're called the Long Island Beepers, I think it is.
Oh,
But I'm sure there's other teams like that around the country that play beeper ball.
That's the first time I've heard of this, and I wish the opposing team didn't play blindfolded.
Like, don't look up Long Island Beepers, because you'll just get a lot of old school
old school. There's a new beeper store in Long Island. It opened up last week.
A lot of guys named Anthony wanting you to sell you some old Motorola's.
Wow.
Cheaper beepers from the LongIslandExchange.com.
Jesus, really? Goddamn Long Island. Why is the place you live in so trash, Leahy?
It's not. You know how big Long Island is? Everyone hates
It's long. I know it's long. I don't know how big it is.
Go out to the Hamptons. Go to Patchogue. Go to Port Jeff. Go to Babylon, where I grew up. Gorgeous.
I remember the song they made out of the place you grew up.
Babylon?
Yeah.
Who wrote that?
David Gray.
David Gray song. Yeah.
Wasn't he talking about like the old Bible Babylon in the Middle East?
No, he strictly mentioned Nassau Coliseum in the third verse.
He mentioned my house. Yeah,
exactly.
62 Peters Lane. Yeah, that's. I remember that.
All right, this
All
coming
right,
in.
here we go. Yeah,
All right.
There we go. The Long Island Bombers. Here we go.
Yep, that's them.
So are they? So I see them wearing blindfolds. Are some people who play for this team not blind, or does everyone have to wear a blindfold?
Dude, this was 1992. This is summer '92, so maybe I don't know. Maybe they're all blind. Maybe some of them are like isn't visually impaired. Like you could still kind of see a little bit.
Okay, so here we go. Beep baseball athletes utilize their entire body, often diving onto the ground to stop a beeping ball and running full speed toward the sound of a buzzing bass to score a run. It is baseball in a modified version.
This sounds so dangerous.
There is no second base.
What?
All right? No, there's no boob fondling. You just
disappointing
go
many
straight to third base.
disappointing many middle schoolers.
So that's why Jamie Benn has never played this.
First and third bases, 4-foot padded cylinders with speakers are placed 100 feet from home plate and 10 feet off the foul line. This is to prevent a runner from colliding with a defensive player. The bases contain a module that buzzes when activated when the batter hits the pitch. The batter does not know which of the two bases will be turned on. What? What?
Yeah, I don't remember it being like this back then. They played on like a little league field, and I remember them using all four bases.
That sounds terrifying, by the way. I'm not going to lie to you.
The pitcher and catcher are situated 20 feet apart. Before pitching, the pitcher is obligated to clearly verbalize 2 words. He or she must say "ready" before the ball is about to be released, and as the ball is approximately released, the pitcher says "pitch" or "ball." The catcher and pitcher do not wear blindfolds and are usually sighted.
Have they added this to the X Games yet?
I don't know, but this is a delight. I mean, ESPN2. This would be perfect for ESPN2.
Yeah, right after Roller Hockey International.
Yeah.
Oh, a little pro beach. They did cornhole championships this weekend.
Yeah,
Apparently,
I saw that.
the
It
hell?
was very
Holy
strange.
smokes!
Like,
The beep baseball, sorry, is 16 inches
hey,
in
now,
circumference.
ladies.
It's a big ball.
Mm.
Well, you should get that checked out, Mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that's a
He doesn't need
delight.
it checked out. He's having a kid. He knows what's up.
And they get 4 strikes instead of 3 to be called out.
Well then, Ted
All right.
Bass looks like my favorite.
Yeah, Ted Fass. Ted Fass is good. Megan Fink there. Nick Esposito. John Gilroy. Braulio Thorne.
Oh,
That is a-
I found Mark's Pasqualo.
yes. Pasquale Agnoni. Pasquale Agnoni. He doesn't have a picture though,
An
unfortunately.
Italian in Long Island. Shocking.
Go figure. This would be fun. This would be a good team building exercise, I feel like. Good times. All right, so that was fun. The Long Island Bombers. Go check them out if you're ever in Long Island.
And if you're not, form your own beat baseball league.
Yeah. Try it out.
Oh my god. Beat baseball. Something we've oh my god. That's really all I have to say. That's interesting. I don't have a segue into what the hell we're going on with the Olympics. Sean, I'll propose this to you: Spengler Cup team going to the Olympics, as long as the referees have Cal uniforms. Are you for or against that?
Oh yeah. See, it's not the same without Guy Boucher involved and just tearing down the referees while they're wearing uniforms with a cow on them, like he did a couple years ago. But yeah, it's going to be really weird when there's like Olympics this year and no one pays attention to it because no one's really wanting to know what Derek Waugh is up to, you know?
It's true.
And especially with those games going to be on at, 6, 7 a.m. in the morning, probably replayed during the day. It's going to be very, very strange. I like that last week there was this little rumor, oh, the NHL's got an alternative schedule. There's maybe some room where they could change their mind. And the whole time I'm reading all this stuff, I'm thinking, I wonder what Jeff Vinnick thinks of all this stuff. The league had a whole thing. They gave him the All-Star game. They're starting to get deals in place and sponsorships and, planning all the events around that. And you're telling me the NHL is all of a sudden going to be like, oh, we changed our mind. Sorry, Jeff. We owe you one. Break all of your contracts that you probably already signed. Unbook those dates that you had planned out for late January for the All-Star game. We're going to Pyeongchang. No, come on. Get real. I mean, this was dead the moment the league – even after the league made that announcement right before the playoffs, I still thought maybe that was a very big pressure point to try and have a little bit of a door open there. But once they obviously announced it officially that Tampa was getting the All-Star game, that's it. I mean, they put out the schedule. They're not going to alter the schedule now because you have all these teams selling tickets for games around those dates. So the league decided last week to all of a sudden go about face and send the players to Pyeongchang. It'd just be a logistical mess for not just the league and the league. It'd just be for the teams with all the tickets and games and having to rejigger the schedule and travel schedules and things like that. So and I'm sure a lot of guys maybe plan some vacations for late January because they know they're probably not going to be going to the All-Star game. So it'd just be a big mess if that would happen.
I don't know. In this social media age, anyone can be an all-star. So
look, I just happened to write for the site that was part of that. I had nothing to do with it.
Aside from
my name's not Greg Wyshynski. Sorry, I'm the guy in the background. I'm innocent. I'm clean. I would love to take credit for helping produce the most entertaining NHL All-Star game in years, but I can't. Sorry.
You understand? I can't remember the last year's All-Star game. I know it was in LA only because Jen just got a jersey, but aside from that,
yeah, I was actually playing the NHL 18 beta this afternoon, and it was like they had like the All-Star teams as part of like one of the options for the NHL threes thing, and yeah, that might have been the first time I thought about this past year's All-Star game since I was in LA in the end of January because it was very, very non-eventful, right? Who was the MVP? Oh, Wayne Simmons, right?
Yeah,
yeah. That okay, right. That's the only thing I remember from it.
it's the only thing really to remember, right? Like
Yeah, but
Winston was there, and then the
that's
Central got stomped in the first game.
that's why it's kind of like baseball though. Like everyone remembers, and even the NBA, everyone remembers like when they're good, the slam dunk competition, the home run derby. You don't really remember the game. That's why the league really needs to kind of rejigger the skills competition. The thing that I've been pleading for them to do is really pump up the hardest shot competition, right? And another thing too, do like the NBA, and I think baseball did this maybe this year. Just because a guy is not an all-star doesn't mean he can't be there.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine having Chara, Weber, Bufflin in the harder shot, and I'm sure there's probably a couple other guys I'm missing. Imagine having them in a harder shot every single year. I mean, it'd be awesome. You could sell it, you can market it, bracket it up like the baseball did with the home run derby, make it a lot more entertaining. But I think this year the guys had 2 shots or 3 shots, and that was it. And there was no like advancement. I think the way they format was really bad. But if they could find a way to rejigger the skills, make it a little more entertaining, not so boring, then there'll be at least something to take away from future All-Star weekends that don't involve getting a goon voted in.
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, Jason Chimera is an obvious candidate for that, because every single game that he plays, some commentator always mentions about how he's one of the fastest guys on the ice wherever he is. And yet,
Carl Hagelin, Michael Grabner, all those guys. I would love to see those guys just face off, and just do a couple laps around the rink. Sure, get the best guys. I mean, I think all the Canadian teams do it. I don't know if any of the American teams do, but I know the Canadian teams, they do like their own like private skills competition day for charity. They invite fans in, and it's like a fun day. Well, get guys out of that, do like some heats, and take the best of the best and send them to Tampa next January.
I know the Caps used to do that a while back in the 90s, and then like that was before. And the Flames do it a lot and every year and stuff like that. So yeah, that'd be interesting. We're here with Sean Rejiggered Leahy, as he's used that no less than 4 times.
I'm Irish. I did a jig before I came on the show.
Speaking of rejiggering in the Irish, Owen Tippett, your person. What do you think? A pale redheaded guy. A lot of people, the Florida Panthers pumping his tires, obviously in a big way. What can we expect out of this kid? He's obviously not one of the top kids. I don't know how much you know about him, but it seems like Florida could be the place to look at. That whole North Carolina and South is a very interesting 3-team demographic.
Yeah, he's going to get a sunburn by like October 13th. Really bad. I mean, I interviewed him. I had him like a little one-on-one for a couple minutes on the day before the draft on the Prospects media thing, and I'm just looking at him like, man, this kid, if he goes somewhere sunny, because he's like he's paler than me. He's got a little more freckles than me, if you can believe it. And I think I wrote a story and I tweeted a picture out, and it had a bunch of the prospects, including Owen Tippett, in. And someone replied to me, "Is like, is that your son on the left-hand side?" I'm like, no, he's a little too old to be my son. But yeah, everything you hear about it, he's got a good shot, a really good shot actually. He's a scorer, and he's going to be one of those guys that gets his 9 games, and depending on how Florida goes, they could certainly use a little bit of a scoring boost losing Jonathan Marsh or so, and Yager obviously. But he's going to get his chance, and that's kind of what you want to see out of these young kids, right? You guys get their tires pumped, give them the 9 games, see how they go, and hopefully he's able to stay for the rest of the year. And because that's the tough thing, right? It's only 9 games because you always see rookies hit the wall at a certain point, and whether it's better for his development to go back to junior for another year and have another crack at it. But everything you hear about the kid, you see the stats in junior, you see some highlight film on YouTube or whatever. You got a great shot. It's just a matter of the other parts of his game coming together, and obviously being able to do it all at the NHL level, which what happens when you go from junior to the NHL. That time out on the ice, holding the puck, he gets it jumps at you. You don't have that much time out there, and you got to get out, move the puck quick or shoot it. Otherwise, you can have a 250-pound defenseman on top of you.
Exactly. But luckily, if he plays the Caps 5 or 6 times, then Brooks Orpik will be on him, and he's fine. Here we go. Here is
Matt Niskanen from the top rope.
That's true. Here you go, Mr.
Look at my son. Look at my beautiful son.
in a big way. Owen Tippett going hard in the paint. My God, that's a weird, creepy look he's giving us too.
That's his blue steel.
I guess, but he's showing off. He's showing off the gun. He's showing off that red hair. My God, he's Undertaker. He is Undertaker. Everybody,
He's young Undertaker. Yeah, there you go.
Youngdertaker. So, my God Almighty. Yeah, we speak about Yager. Where is Yager going? Is he just going to stay in the Czech Republic? Seems at Couch. A lot of people are saying Couch as the pick. Johnny P says Couch as the pick.
I mean, he says he wants to finish when he finishes his career. He wants to play 1 year with Kladno, the team that he owns with his dad, and that he came up through all those years back. And also, if you get a chance, look up their logo. They probably have the best logo in hockey. Really cool, the Kladno Knights. But see, he was in such a good situation in Florida with Barkov and Huberdeau. Obviously, those guys are hurt for most of last season, so that kind of affected him. But he's shown he can still play, even at 45. We all know he's a fitness freak. He's in good shape. He can keep himself in shape. He can certainly play a couple more years, but it's got to be the right situation, the right two line mates with him. Because just to be able to utilize his skill set at age 45, but I think he can still play. I mean, it's amazing, and I think he's going to be a guy who's going to want to try and play until he can't anymore. He's not going to be like Brett Hull and the Coyotes in 05, 06, and or Willie Mays in center field for the New York Mets back in the day and embarrassing himself. He's too prideful of a guy, and he said he wants to play until 50 years old or whatever. So it's 5 more years. He feels he can keep his body in great shape before he heads off to the Czech Republic. So I'm curious to see where he's going to land. He's on the perpetual 1 year deal for the rest of his career if he keeps playing here. But I'm curious to see, who wants to take a chance on a 1 year and a 45-year-old winger. It's obviously you're going to have a great marketing opportunity to bring in a living legend, a guy who has a mullet, a good personality, and a guy you can kind of do a lot of promotions around for sure. So he's easily a guy in the right spot can give you 15 goals and probably 35 points, no doubt.
I loved your rank, the order that you put those in. Number 1, living legend, great player. Number 2, mullet. Number 3.
Priority.
You're right. I should have merged 1 and 2 because the mullet is part of the living legend part.
It's true. Number 3, everything else doesn't matter after the mullet.
Good point, Johnny.
Thank you.
A little digitized Johnny there. Mark, the wheels are falling off the microphone quick.
Son of a hooker. Of course it is.
It's okay. It's the power of Sean Leahy screwing you over real quick.
Yeah, it's like that show Ghost Adventures where they go into a room and like all their stuff shuts down because there's just kind of what ghost there, zapping all their energy. It's an energy vampire.
Oh, it's the Bill Clement. All right, so but who's after Yager? Who is as beloved of an old player that is still kind of good? Who's the next Yager?
Is there Marlowe getting there?
He's not. He's obviously a decent player, but I don't think he's universally beloved. Maybe because he's played on the West Coast his entire career, so I don't think he's got that that universal love that Yager has.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of my head.
Yager, Doan, Matt Cullen, Chara. I mean, I guess Iginla if he still plays.
Yeah,
Iginla has that.
Hossa,
but he's done.
Hossa, yeah, is done.
Joe Thornton.
I think Thornton could be up there. Yeah,
Thornton could probably be that guy. Yeah.
Mike Ribeiro.
No, nobody cares.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's got to be Thornton because he still feels he can play, even though his numbers are slowly diminishing a bit.
Well, the body issue showed that he is gunzo wheeling.
Ready to go. I mean, as we know, he certainly is not shy about walking around without a shirt on. So.
With Brett Burns, too. Like they're the tag team champions.
In the city of Pittsburgh.
Sure. Though they had to walk around there. There's no damn cabs. That's the bad point to all of that. That's the reason why they had to go ahead and walk around. My God almighty. There was something else I wanted to say. Damn it, I lost it. What can you do? It was like off the cuff. I was going to get the beef between you and Mark figured out, but I don't know what the hell. But yeah, we can do.
I'm still confused about the beef, but
What do you mean you're confused about the beef? We've mentioned it many a time on this show. It's your lack of integrity to come and see Sean Leahy once a year in the draft setting of the choice.
I miss you. I miss your musk. Miss your scent. And every time I go to the draft, I think I'm going to see the whole Face Off Hockey Show crew, and I've seen Lyle like once. Seen Mark like twice. I thought I saw Mark last year, but he wasn't there, apparently.
Yeah, I was gonna say, thought you saw Mark in Buffalo, but alas, that was still John.
Yes. That was a real mix-up.
We went over this like 5 times with Sean in the first 2 nights we were there.
I didn't get a happy
wasn't
birthday
there.
text from you on July 22nd, by the way. I didn't get a birthday text from you.
Oh, that's because I sent a text to Johnny saying "Happy birthday, Mark."
Perfect.
He said, "Thank you, sir." So he appreciated it.
Well, at least someone appreciates it. Unlike Mark appreciating the friendship between Sean Leahy and him. Whatever.
It just breaks my heart.
Breaks all our hearts. I thought we could live in harmony.
Hey, when the draft finally comes to DC, I'll see you. How about that?
All right, so I'll see you when we're 60 years old.
and it's not guaranteed either.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's going to be in Dallas next year. So another missed opportunity to see Mark, because you'll have your excuse. Oh, I'm home with my little baby.
I've got a human to take care of.
Yeah, maybe, but just leave.
So does Sean.
Put some food out, and you're good. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a cat, it'll know what to do.
I mean, I do have a dog crate from that time I had a dog for a month.
That's true.
Sounds like a book idea.
It's the saddest country song I've ever heard.
Poor Roscoe.
I know. What can you do, though, right? My God Almighty. So yeah. By the way, we can start up our Hall of Fame tour again, or the Face Off Hockey Show draft outings, because the International Bowling Hall of Fame is down there in Texas, because that's where the U.S. Bowling Congress is in Arlington. So
the International Fishing Hall of Fame is in Fort Lauderdale. And do you know who is a member? Their most famous member, Baseball Hall of Famer,
Rod Carew.
He's dead. And
Rod Carew's not dead.
No, not Rod Carew. I mean the guy I'm talking about.
Oh,
but he's dead, and he's currently residing in a refrigerator situation somewhere in Arizona.
Ah, of course.
In 2 parts.
Right. No, I get it. It's of course Luis Gonzalez.
No, one is his body, and the other's the roids for Lugo. The roids he used to beat my Yankees in 2001.
Here, Julio Lugo.
Yes.
Or Julio. Is that Ted Williams?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was a big time fisherman.
So the National Cowgirl Hall of Fame is in Fort Worth. That's close enough.
Sounds like a porno.
It does.
I don't know what.
Well, let's be honest. Debbie does Dallas. Like, come on, guys. Let's not.
I thought that was just a tourism video. I've never seen it. No, it's not. Is that what you're saying?
I think it is an educational video. I will say that much.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
That's what you hear. My goodness. So we had this here for a shoot interview, as Sean Leahy is going to run down Yahoo and all of their worthlessness.
Quite the clickbait.
Yeah, exactly. funny enough, it still yielded no results.
Yeah.
Greg retweeted it, and that was it. So
sorry,
ladies and gentlemen, we will not have that, because Sean Leahy has nothing but good times, I'm sure.
Speaking of which, how did you shed a tear reading Greg's tribute to Sean Leahy? I certainly did.
I did. It was adorable.
It was very sweet. It was very sweet.
It was sweet. But, ladies and gentlemen, you can get his new book, 10 Things I Hate About Greg Wyshynski, on ebook.
Kindle only, I'm sorry.
Exactly. We're Kindle only in this, and it's also a book of list about things he hates about former employers.
Yeah, this is like
Circuit City, fuck them.
Yeah, this is like when Kane turned on The Undertaker, so.
Exactly. Yeah. Which time?
For the very first time.
Oh.
The Audible book on tape is coming soon, but I still have to send my keg of Guinness to Sean's house to get that started.
As we're joined now by another ebook author, Lyle Richardson of SpectreStalking.net. Before ebooks were cool.
Yeah, and now well out of print. Even I don't even have a copy. But there you go. But trust me, it was the greatest thing ever written.
Was it a book about mustaches?
It was the greatest thing ever written. It was greater even than the Gutenberg Bible. It was tremendous. It was made in China.
The problem with the Gutenberg Bible is it was just all Police Academy movies, and I was
exactly.
Exactly.
Well, now, but don't forget the New Testament, which involved three men and a little lady.
Yeah, exactly. It was the anti-Jesus story, where it was a girl as the savior of the universe.
Exactly.
The Old Testament is all about Tackleberry. It was really weird.
My favorite was the book of Judge Reinhold, which is just, I swear we're not the same person. We seriously are not the same person.
The story, according to Bobcat, these things were
mock trial with Judge Reinhold. Mock trial with Judge Reinhold. Mock trial.
The problem with the problem with the Audible book of the Gutenberg Bible is the fact that it's actually Michael Winslow just doing sound effects for 3 hours.
Doing helicopter
noises. Yeah, it's not a fun time.
Well, the 80s were a strange time. I lived through it, so yeah, a lot of cocaine, and other people were doing it too. Apparently,
I was gonna say.
That way he is white right now.
Exactly.
Lyle's tables were as white as Owen Tippett. That's how white I
was. Oh man.
Lyle, do you have any shoot questions so Leahy can get off his chest about Yahoo?
Nah. I'm gonna wait for the book to come out. The 10 Things I Hate About Greg Wyshynski. I'm definitely looking forward to that you mentioned earlier.
10 Things I Hate About Greg Wyshynski and Other Trail Mix Tales.
Tales of Trail Mix and Thermostats by Sean Leahy.
Make sure you sign a copy and give it to him for Christmas.
Exactly. If I don't get a copy, I'm gonna be pissed.
There's more than 10. We're gonna get a couple editions here.
Oh well, there you go.
Exactly.
And the sequel, which Patanzo is which?
No, it's instead of Where's Waldo, it's Where's Johnny.
Where's John? Which one's John? So yeah. So how long did it? Okay, I'm only just coming in, guys. So how long did it take Sean to figure out that that's not Johnny?
I don't think what?
He still hasn't.
I thought I've been talking to Johnny the whole time. I thought Mark was the one reffing tonight.
I mean, he is in Washington, D.C. at a Nationals game. That could have very easily been me.
Could be.
Could
have been.
You just have to remember, Johnny's the handsome one. Sorry, Mark.
That's fine.
Even Mark acknowledges that. So.
I don't see Mark anymore since he doesn't come out. So I kind of forgot what he looks like. So
I have a couple of really good filters on.
We go to soccer games. We go to bars together.
It's true.
He's the good Patanzo.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that night, Sean, is that me and Jen were on our way over, and we literally just missed you guys when you were leaving. Like Irish Hand. I don't know what the hell it was called.
Callahan.
Yeah.
Irish Hand.
Yeah, I don't know. We were at the ping pong bar a block down, so that's where we were.
Yeah. Did Johnny tell you about our Uber driver? Back to the game.
What happened?
It was this soccer stadium pretty far. It's like a good 40-minute drive from like the city. And we were talking to the dude. He was a young guy, and he apparently had never like left Chicago or Illinois. So he was very fascinated with the fact that we were from the East Coast. He was like, "So what's that like? What kind of weather you guys get over there?" I'm like, "Well, it's the same. It's it's New York and it's DC, Maryland." And then it devolved into his tales of being an Uber driver and how like he would sometimes get paid in certain favors by ladies. And then we got to our destination and we ran into the bar because this guy was
this tale took a dark skeezy turn.
Yeah, it went from like just him asking us questions about what the East Coast is like it's some foreign land to it's like to what's Taxi Cab Confessions or something.
Oh wow!
Worst HBO show ever.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of worse. I'm like, no, Sherman Oaks was a Showtime show.
Exactly.
That was a pretty bad show.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it's good times. Sean Leahy. Man, Sean Leahy should just join the Athletic because they were raising money hand over fist.
Yeah, why haven't they snapped you up yet? What do you know? I've done everything I can here. I mean, I got the hashtag hire Sean Leahy thing going. I mean, come on, man. I mean, geez, how come they haven't hired you yet?
Well, then they haven't made a New York one yet.
Oh, okay.
That's probably why.
So you're not willing to move out to Cleveland where they have one?
You're not willing to move to Chicago where I know they have one, where you can run into that skeezy Uber driver again? And
No, I'm gonna stay away from Chicago now.
That could be his personal Uber driver. But he only requests this guy.
Oh, thank God you've come to share this Uber car with me. Jesus, he's about to tell me about the favors he's getting.
No, there's some irons in the fire, so maybe
Get them out. They're gonna burn.
sometime soon. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what develops over the next couple of weeks, and
Good.
maybe there'll be an announcement coming sometime in the next month. Or so.
Exclusively on the face off.
Fantastic.
Fingers crossed for you there, bud.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a gender reveal party. We're gonna cut open a giant cake, and we'll see what's inside.
Just don't try and join the military. You're not allowed to do that now anymore.
Are you saying Sean's transgendered?
Is there anything wrong with that?
No, I'm not. I'm just
Well,
saying
then what's your problem? What's your problem, Scotty Waz?
your implication of him.
You
being
are you
hasn't
one of
told
those
his family
deplorables? Are you being deplorable, Scotty Waz?
that. Well, hey, I'd rather be deplorable than deployable. Let's go.
Look,
No.
I can't stay up past like 8:30 most nights, so
well.
I'm gonna make it.
I don't think that-
at age 36.
Yeah. And your knees? Come on.
you poor thing. Tell me more, young man, about your age problems.
How much SPF do I need out in Afghanistan or Iran?
Oh,
or
that's
one-
another good point.
1,000.
Yeah, I don't know if
But it's a dry heat.
they might have to go over budget to supply me with the SPF over there.
Yeah. Well, they can always find you like a good job where you go in a cave and you don't have to come out. So
Of course.
That's kind of what being a hockey writer is.
isn't
Yeah,
it
no.
though? Isn't it just?
Well, no,
Do
now
you
you
like
have
work? Do you like being alone?
now you have to go ahead and do video aspects too. So I think that's also
yeah. Got to pivot.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing about pivoting the video is they still shoot you chest up, so you can still be pantsless.
this is
That is
true.
true.
You know?
That is
Look
true.
at the
That's
bright
the best
side.
thing. Yep, exactly. You can be
I'm
sitting
always
there
thinking.
in boxer shorts and just wearing the shirt up or the suit up top, and it's all good.
Yeah, pivot to boxers. That's what I say.
Hashtag pivot to Voxers.
Hashtag on it,
Get it going, Lyle. Get it
and
trending.
it's trending.
It's already trending in PEI
go.
because Lyle's the only one with Twitter. That and the Charlotte Island Towns.
Well, you use one tweet to trend up there.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That Charlottetown
Exactly.
Islanders are the only other ones, and they just retweeted it. So
There we go. Yep,
100% of PEI covered.
it's on its way.
Good
By the way, guys, can I just say very, very quickly how much I'm looking forward to the E ESPN 30 for 30 biography of the Nature Boy Ric Flair. That's coming on November 7th. I don't give a damn what hockey game is on that night. I am making time.
I think that's Hall of Fame weekend too.
Yeah. So screw you, NHL, for that night. It's all about the Nature Boy. But looks good. The updated trailer looks pretty good. So
Looks snazzy. That's for damn sure.
mhm, exactly.
Uh,
But anyway,
Sean Leahy, I don't know your time constraints, sir.
yeah.
I am putting your hands.
Oh,
Oh dear.
No,
Eh.
I am not an Uber driver, sir.
How dare you?
I will not.
Yeah. Can I say on a hockey related thing how
Sure.
disappointed I am in the lack of supposed excitement we were supposed to see this summer? The buildup that we had that we were going to see with the expansion draft and
Oh,
all the big name players that were being tossed around as trade bait, and oh my God, we're going to see offer sheets. You watch, here they come, here they come.
Lyle, you must be
Eh.
watching the NBA channel.
Oh, damn it. Got it wrong again. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Lyle, you mean
See, I get confused because they both have nets. You see,
Yeah, no,
that's
yeah.
what throws me.
No, that's
Yeah.
fine. You mean Nolan Patrick Boyle watch has not been your target of the summer?
Oh my God. But I mean, this
Turns
summer's
out it was a
been-
gummy bear.
Yeah. I mean, the
Lyle,
most.
have you ever had a boil?
Pardon me.
Have you ever had a boil, Lyle?
I've never had a boil, but I've had things on the boil. Does that count?
I know Sean Leahy has a boil. It's Brian. But again,
Son of a. Oh, One day we'll tell that story.
Yeah, one day.
Find me offline.
Yeah, exactly.
Meet me in
One day
Temecula.
when he's unhireable, we'll tell that story. When he finally made that millions off of the Athletic.
Before his Hall of Fame speech, we'll tell that story.
Tell it. Yeah, exactly. His Hall of Fame in the Kenosha, Wisconsin Hockey Hall of Fame. I don't even know if you. Whatever. Point is this. Yeah, Lyle, it's been exciting. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Connor McDavid thing was exciting. The Connor McDavid contract signing and watching people lose their damn minds over that was interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, sure, there were some notable trades which happen every June, and free agency wasn't really anything that went, oh my God, didn't expect to see that happen. I mean, everything pretty much went down the way it was supposed to go down.
But Lyle, the Canadians are charging for pay-per-season tickets. How do you feel about that? I mean, that's the hot button issue.
That's yeah. Well, if I was a Habs fan and I couldn't figure out these dag nabbit smartphones and things like that, I'd be crotchety and upset too. But hey, just go and get yourself just get yourself a phone. I did, and I'm very grateful that I did. So.
But you don't even need to have a phone. Can't you just these tickets can be transferred to credit cards?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, if they don't have
absolutely.
A credit card, then,
for God's sake, they'll email them to you.
I hope they have a credit card because have season tickets. That's something you don't pay straight cash, me. And if they do, they should have tracked those people down and then realize they're doing some shady things to get this money.
Absolutely. But yeah, but that just goes to show we hit the dog days of summer a lot faster than we normally do.
Yeah, but
we really did.
Most egregious thing when it comes to tickets, charging for paper or not letting people outside of a certain zip code buy tickets. Sean Leahy.
Sean, what do you think?
You're up first.
Like, I don't get the banning of the zip codes because, like, everyone's heard of secondary markets, right? We know what StubHub is and SeatGeek and all those places. So the only thing you're really doing is saving those people those stupid exorbitant service charge fees from Ticketmaster. That's it. You're not going to keep the people out of the building. So and look, isn't it fun when there's opposing fans in your building, and so you got that back and forth? I mean, it's not like you're going to half the building is going to be fans of the opposing team. So I don't know what you're so scared of. It's just so dumb. It's just so dumb.
Yeah, I concur with that. I mean, come on, man. I mean, as you said, you're not keeping fans. I mean, can you imagine if the Toronto Maple Leafs tried to do that to keep Montreal Canadiens fans out of their building when the Habs and the Leafs are playing? Come on, that's part of the fun when those two teams get together, when longtime rivals. Or, if the Oilers would start to do that to Calgary Flames fans, that's ridiculous. You don't do that. And it shows just a little bit of lack of confidence in your own market, perhaps, if you start doing that. Doesn't really reflect well on you as a team or on the confidence you have in your market. If you're, we want to keep those Blackhawks fans or those Red Wings fans from coming into our market. It doesn't say much about your market then if you're afraid about it being flooded by, twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, being flooded by fans from an opposing team.
The silliest thing too with this year was the Oilers selling, I think it was like the 200 or 250 seats to fans for the playoff game, just for them to go into the building, not in the rink part, but hang out on a concourse and watch on TV. Forget about them trying to get extra money, but you're adding that many more fans into a building that's already full. So imagine the bathroom lines, the concession lines. You're just making it worse for the fans that are already there to watch the game in the actual rink part, just to sell a couple hundred more tickets.
But by the same token, though, too, excuse me, I blame those fans who, like, what kind of stupid are you? You're paying out good money, couple of $100 to stand in the fecking concourse and watch it on the big screen.
Just set up a watch party outside like most other teams.
Like most people, where you can bring your own beer and sit there and chill. Better yet, go to a sports bar. Better yet, have some of your friends over if you got a big screen TV. Much better. Jeez, I mean, what do you say? Dude, I was at the game. Oh, really? Wow, how did you get seats? Well, I didn't really have seats. I was in the concourse. But man, what great screens they got there. And the hot dogs still rock.
I watched it on a small TV next to the men's room, man. It was awesome.
yeah.
Well, I prefer the radio feed.
I was totally not put off by the stench coming from the urinal cakes, let me tell you.
I prefer the radio feed, so I just sat in one of the bathroom stalls and listened to the radio feed instead.
Oh my God. I mean, that's just pathetic. But listen, if there's a market for them, I don't blame in that regard, though. I don't blame the Oilers for actually putting that out there. If there's a market for them, if there are people dumb enough, and I'm sorry, you're dumb if you do that, then hey, why not bilk the rubes? Go for it. Why not? Why not? I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Lyle is pro rube.
Absolutely. But not pro bilking the rubes. It's the greatest thing. You bilk the rubes. You know, it's the rubiest thing you'll ever do.
I'd ask Mark, but he is having a discussion right now. So my answer is most egregious. I say ban the zip codes. And the paper ticket thing is the worst of that. I don't
explain, sir.
I'm a Caps fan who had to deal with Penguins fans in the early '90s. By the busloads of those Yinzers coming up, and then
he's talking about your people, AE.
He's a Long Islander. I'll get to them in a minute. Then came up to
a Long Islander cheers for the Penguins. Come on,
it's gonna be a long rant.
The Philly crew coming up and going, my dad hated going to those games because those sons of bitches. Like, that was the biggest thing. It's just like, no, these fucks always ruin everything. Like, that was the biggest ordeal that was Stan. Just driving home, like, those goddamn Pittsburgh people. If we ever have one place to bomb in the U.S., I'm taking there.
Scotty, should you be laying down on a therapist couch right now while you're going through this all? Or?
I play 3 people, $200 a session. Don't worry about it. I'm making Blog Talk Radio money now, baby.
There you go.
What is this?
Him and Little Stan.
Little Stan, yeah.
Oh, that's penis or?
It's a long story. Which isn't about Shaw. Oh, it isn't about Scotty. So there you go.
It can be.
Hey-oh! Anyway, Mark, what's Mark's take on the whole thing? Zip code or the paper tickets, Mark?
Zip code is ridiculous for many, many reasons. First, they've almost all been said already, but it wouldn't work in DC anyway, because the whole point, the reason why when the Caps suck, or when any DC team sucks for that matter, the reason why there are so many out of town fans is because there are so many out of town people that live in DC and work in DC. Fans from all over the place come to DC because their jobs take them to DC. That's the nature of how DC works. It doesn't matter. People usually aren't buying tickets from outside of DC, so limiting to a certain zip code isn't going to stop that. So, I mean, I realize in other cities maybe that'll work, but in DC that doesn't work that way. Yeah, but it does bother me because ticket resellers will just buy them from that zip code and then sell them to whoever they want to anyway. So what does it matter?
So Sean, for the visual effect, this is Little Stan. This is Mini Stan. So you could tell by the name and number on the back of the jersey. That's Little Stan. Okay. So he is the one who
Why does he play for the Reds?
That's he played his senior league baseball team was the Reds.
Oh, okay, all right. So, I like the facial hair.
Yeah, no, he had a good
kind of just like stops.
Yeah, well, listen, Oyo technology can only go so far. As the
spokesman,
as the COO of this company, we will figure a way. You had to talk me off the ledge because I thought all the NHL stuff they had lost the licensing. I'm like, how can the NHL reject any licensing, much less little Oyo figures that can market to little kids? Secondly, I just bought all this, especially me. I got two rings going, possibly a third if I want to open it up. I got a whole room in my house that's going to be Oyo. I mean, what do you want?
I want pictures of the finished product. That's what I want.
The finished product. I don't have many finished players. I think maybe Temu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't think I haven't been on eBay like the past 2 months? Just talk to Jen. Like, Jen, look at this deal. She's like, yes, Scott. It's a deal. That's a great. I hate you so much.
Well, she's only mad because that would take away space for her jerseys and t-shirt collection.
That's why we got 2 spare rooms now. She has the entire walk-in closet to herself and her t-shirts.
There you go.
So she's fine.
There you go. It's all good.
I think we just bought more t-shirts because WWE had a buy one get one for $1 sale. So, not saying we bought a lot of t-shirts. I'm not saying that either. Lyle, we talked to Sean Leahy about this, and then we proposed this a little bit ourselves. 92-93. Big thing going on for the score as they take other people's work and pawn them off as their own. What do you remember about the magical year of 92-93?
The magical, well, being a Habs fan, that was the last year they won the Cup. You know, for me, that's the biggest memory. Followed very closely by the Toronto Maple Leafs almost making it to the final, but getting ripped off in overtime of Game 6 by the call that will haunt Kerry Fraser, former NHL referee Kerry Fraser for life. Not calling Wayne Gretzky on an obvious high sticking call, which should have been at least 4-minute penalty there. Let's see. McGillney and Solani each hitting 76 goals that year. The last time we saw any like really big time scoring like that until Ovechkin came along and hit 60. Is this basically the year that lamented the fact that this was before the dead puck era? Like this was the year before everything went to trap in defensive hockey? Well, no, that's not true. 93-94 was the last year before everything went to the trap. It was also the final year before the first lockout, and you know that's when things just from an entirely different level just went off the rails. But no, 93-94 was the final year for that. I mean that was a year when I think everything 93-94 was when everything finally came into perfect balance. We still had a lot of high scoring, but the goaltending significantly was improving. It really come up that year. That was Robbie Brodeur's rookie season. Dominic Hasek was coming into his own as a superstar. Patrick Waugh, of course, and Eddie Belfour. They were in their prime. So you were seeing right that season. I think was what I considered the perfect balance for high scoring, high octane offense, but at the same time, you saw some fantastic goaltending.
Here's another crazy thing, which we'll probably never see again because I'm looking on NHL.com. Guess how many players hit 100 points 92-93?
I was just about to get that reference, but I won't get it because I
stole it.
You did.
How many hit 100 points?
I say 15.
How many had at least 100 points?
I'm going to say 15.
You say 15. I'm going to say 21.
Mark?
11.
Lyle, you're the big winner. 21 exactly.
Wow, look at that. You win all showcases.
Mario Lemieux had 69 goals. Nice.
Nice.
And 160 points. Lemieux averaged 2.67 points per game. And that was the year he had the Hodgkins battle, and he only played 60 games.
That's just crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah. How did Yager do that year? He had a big year that year too, did he not?
Where is Yogs? He might have been hurt that year. No, he played. This is crazy to think. He was 29th in scoring. He only had 94 points.
Oh, wow, what an off year!
Oh, wow, what a down year for him, right?
That would have won him like the last bunch of Art Ross trophies.
So who were the guys besides Mario who had 100 that year?
LaFontaine had 148.
LaFontaine.
Oates had 142. Yzerman 137. Solani and Turgeon 132. McGillney and Gilmore 127. Robitaille 125. Recchi 123. Sundin 114. Kevin Stevens 111. Thank you, Mario Lemieux. Pavel Bure 110. Rick Tocchet 109. Roenick 107. Craig Janney, USA Hockey Hall of Famer 106. Sakic 105. Juno 102. Brett Hull 101, and Fleury and Francis with 100 even.
And no Fedorov on that list.
No, Feds had 87 points.
But that was back, like I said, but it just goes to show. I mean, back then, that was when hitting 100 points was everybody, the big name scorers were expected to hit 100 points back then. Now we get excited if they hit 80.
Here's another fun one. How many guys scored at least 50 goals that year?
Oh shit. Okay.
At
Who wants to
least
start
50.
off?
16.
You are
Wow.
a bastard. I was gonna say 16. I'm gonna say 18.
Lyle.
26.
Scotty, you're the big wiener. 14.
Wow. Wow.
And 25 guys hit at least 40.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Were there any guys that hit 50 goals but not 100 points?
Ooh, good question.
Yes. Shanahan had 94. And Dave Andrechuk just missed. He had 99.
Dave Andrechuk? Yes.
They had more
Clyde.
goals than assists. that game.
Andrechuk had 54 goals. All of them were within 3 feet of the goal.
Well, Andrechuk also. I mean, he was on the same line with Dougie Gilmore when they made that trade. So yeah, he was on Gilmore's line for 3 years. So
Andrechuk also benefited with the league leading 32 power play goals.
yeah, that didn't hurt.
Adam Oates had 97 assists.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's insane.
97
That's
assists.
insane. The only reason why Gretzky's not on there is because that was the year he was hurt. He had a back
Yeah.
injury that year, so he missed a good chunk of time, and then he comes back and just lights it up in the playoffs. Yeah.
Pavel Bure took 407 shots.
Wow.
But still, Lemieux that's insanity. 60
Yeah.
games, 69 goals, 91 points, 160 points, 2.67 points per game, 16 power play goals, 55 power play points, 10 game-winning goals, 6 shorthanded goals, and he had radiation treatments for the second half of the season.
Yep.
Insanity.
Just yeah. Yeah.
And I
Different
think that was
time.
the year. I'm pretty sure that was the year where he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's. Either
92, 93.
Either he was trailing LaFontaine or he obviously lost the points lead to LaFontaine during that time frame. And he came back and went on an insane tear.
And
Yep.
and it culminated into their third straight stand. What? Wait,
Well,
what's a David Volek? What's that?
well, look, I mean, they experienced what all Caps fans have come to know as they weren't able to get out of the second round. You know?
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
That
But
was
at least
very-
they've seen more than a second.
Hi-yo.
round.
And I can tell you, as a Habs fan that year, every Habs fan that year was going,
Yeah.
because the Islanders were the team we wanted to face in that conference final, not the Penguins. No.
The Islanders robbed us with potential Gretzky Lemieux Stanley Cup final. That would have been awesome.
Been amazing.
But as it stood, it didn't happen, and Montreal won the cup. Woohoo!
There you go.
So there you go.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
And
Yeah, thanks to how many overtime goals?
Listen,
That's-
doesn't
10.
matter.
10. Jeez.
10 overtime goals, which was crazy. John LeClair got 2 of them, for God's sake. And then they turned around 2 years later and traded John LeClair because they only saw him as a checking line forward and not as the power forward beast that all the rest of us saw he was going to be.
Well, that also helped create the Legion of Doom. So
Right.
Screw the Legion of Doom. I wanted John LeClair to stay in Montreal. I want him to be used properly, for God's sake. They're killing me. Oh, well. Hey, I had a good run. During the first 30 years of my life, I saw the Habs win the Cup 10 times. I can't complain.
Well, there you go.
Well, I could complain because I want to see them win one more. But hey, I got to see them win 10 of them, so I'll
There you
take
go.
that.
Poor
See?
Lyle.
I know, right? Come on. I just want to see them win one more so we can make it 11. Come on.
The first 30 years of my life, I haven't even seen them win one Stanley Cup final game, the Caps.
Yeah.
They've been there, but then that's it.
They were kind of there.
Went to the dance once and
Stood by the wall and just be like shaking their head, like, yeah, no, this is good. It's good music. It's been some good stuff.
it was like a 7th grade dance. They were on the one side and the Stanley Cup was on the other side, and they were not meeting in the middle.
No.
No. Well, that's because the most popular kid in school was there too, and nobody's beaten Detroit that year. I'm afraid. Nobody.
You know what? If Vesa Tikkanen can hit a goddamn open net, like I'm fucking.
Oh, that's gonna haunt you guys forever. I'm telling
Wow,
you. Oh,
in a music video, he didn't hit an open net. That's the damn thing I'm pissed off at. He had a music video. It's choreographed. It's he knows. It shoots it wide. The guy was rapping as he was saving the shot, Lyle. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. Unless you're Patrick Waskin and you have a rap career on side of a goaltending career.
Can I just say, speaking of Estetikinen, everyone should follow him on Instagram. He's fantastic. He is Essa dot Tikkanen. Some wonderful pictures of him shirtless on a beach, speaking his famous tiki talk. But
He really was
really
one of a
good
kind.
feed.
He really was one of a kind as a Tikkanen.
Yeah, no, he really was. Yeah, it's one of the kind of can't open a goddamn open net.
If only Esa Tikkanen circa 1992 had shown up that game, hey? He would have hit the open net then.
Would have been fine. We would have been
But
okay.
it
We
was
would have
Esa
been
Tikkanen in 1998.
1-1 going to DC. It would have been great.
Good times. Not.
Wow, what do you think about a guy from Climax being the Olympic coach of Canada? Go.
Hey, could have been worse. Could have been the guy from Dildo.
Rubber. So Sean Burke, Marty Brodeur, Willie Desjardins, the three-headed monster that is going into the Olympics.
Oh boy.
And the Olympics, the pre-Olympic roster has been named, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, howdy, it's a who's who of who cares.
It is. Oh, it is. No argument. This could be the first Olympic team ever iced where the coaches are more well known than the actual roster.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2017 Spengler Cup roster, also the Olympic team. Gilbert Brulé, remember him?
Most famous for picking up a hitchhiking Bono.
There you go. Bud Holloway, a former WHL standout, supposed to be Canadian's kid at the Diamond in the Rough. Didn't happen.
Isn't he Swedish?
Bud Holloway? He could be.
Yeah, or am I thinking of someone else?
I think you're thinking of someone else.
Didn't he have a hit back in the 90s?
That was Cab Calloway.
Oh, sorry.
Mason Raymond, everybody.
Hey-o.
Spinorama. Cam Barker.
No Cam Barker. No,
Well, he's on some roster, right?
Oh yeah, no, this. I'm sorry. The Sochi Hockey Open. There's one for a Sochi Hockey Open, and there's one for the tournament of Nikolai Pushkov. Justin Peters on the Sochi Open. Yeah, Cam Barker is on the Nikolai Pushkov roster, along with Kevin Klein, Carlo Koliakovo, Marc-Andre Pouliot, Derek Roy, Ben Scrivens, but Kevin Poulin being on both squads as the backup goalie, which I think proves well for him as third stringer for the Olympics.
There you go. So a whole bunch of has-beens and never-weres. Yay. Hey, exactly. But they got spots open for Shane Doan and Jerome McGinley if they don't sign with anybody this year.
That would be a good for them because it's
wouldn't it?
Slower game.
And then they actually go on and win Olympic gold. That'd be a hell of a way to finish the career.
Be good for them to win something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Doan was never on an Olympic team, wasn't he? I don't think he ever was.
No, he came in, 94, 95?
Yeah, no, he was an Olympic team. Iggy, of course, famous Iggy! So,
That's true.
That's right.
Doan won
the
he was World Championship.
World Cup of Hockey also.
World Cup of Hockey, and in 2004.
Wait, no, he was a member of the 2006 Winter Olympic team, the third team.
The team that didn't medal for Canada. Yeah, whoops. But yeah, he didn't win. He was on a World Championship roster too, was he not?
Yes, he was. 2003 and 07.
There you go. So so he has won some things. Yeah.
But he hasn't played an international tournament since 2009.
Yeah. Well, that's about to change.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Canadian Olympic hockey captain, Shane Doan.
Boy, that's kind of sad, but well.
Just wait until the American roster. It's gonna be like me and Scotty.
Exactly. We're
and Mark in goal.
We're gonna be second pair defense when and Mark's gonna be in net starting. It's gonna be great.
Perfect. Only if we get Jeff Bloss to be your defensive pairing.
Well, here's the thing, though. Mark's not going to show up because he's got a kid now, so he can't go over.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that due date's fast approaching, eh, Mark?
You think
it is?
Come on.
Yeah. Well, I could go to Pyeongchang right around the corner. I can head out for a day or two.
Oh, he could go. No, Mark, that's a PF Chang. It's not a Pyeongchang.
There we go.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You go. Yeah.
Come on, you could FaceTime. That's all.
Put an iPhone in that and still beat the South Koreans 3-2.
Kick saving a beauty by the iPhone. Oh man. Yeah, well,
I'm
but
gonna
I'll
watch
tell
the
you,
Olympics
this
for
is.
the. I'm gonna watch the Olympics just for the sheer hilarity of it.
But I'll tell you though, that is not sitting well with the players at all. This is
It's their
not a
own
moment of
fault.
seriousness. Yeah. I mean, it should have been
Their own fault.
negotiated in. I agree with you there, but the league is also just dripping in hypocrisy right now. You know, I mean, oh, we're not going to go there. No, we don't like closing down during the season and we lose money and our players are getting hurt. But, oh, China in 4 years where we get a chance to make big footprint in China. Yeah, it's just like, you bloody hypocrites, knock it off. I mean, you know, come on. Right? I mean, you could do Pyeongchang, then you could do China, and then if you want to, you can try and shut it down afterwards. But I mean, Bettman's not negotiating here at all. I mean, Jesus, come on. I mean, throw the guys a bone here, right? I mean, if you know they hate escrow, okay, this could all be resolved so easily if they really wanted to. It'd be like, look, if you guys will sign off 3 more years in the CBA, we will tweak the escrow so that it's under 10% every year. Okay, it's not going away, but it won't be 12 to 15%. Okay, and in return, we will give you all the friggin' Olympic tournaments you want over that time period. We'll throw in more World Cups. We'll sweeten the pot in the World Cups for you because we know you're kind of unhappy with how the money got distributed in that. You know, I mean, come on here.
And
I mean,
Adidas tearaway pants for all.
Exactly. But at some point, this, you know.
But everything with everything about Bettman is negotiation, right? Everything is trying to get leverage out of the players.
And I understand that, but it's all hardline. There's no great. But at some point, this has to stop, Sean. This is what I'm saying. At some point,
Lyle, we've had 3 lockouts in the last 20 years. It's not going to stop.
I know, and it should. But at some point, the NHL is going to reach its come to Jesus moment the way Major League Baseball did. You can only keep tapping that well of fan goodwill for so long, and they're going to make you pay. At some point, it's going to happen. The only reason why Bettman is confident in doing this is because, hey, you know, we've had 3 lockouts and the fans kept coming back in droves. So what do we need to worry about?
But look at baseball, though. 3 years after their strike where they wiped out the World Series and the whole second half of the season, they had the Maguire-Sosa thing. People came back. They had the steroid thing in the early 2000s. People still have been coming to the ballpark.
But look what they've also done since then. Okay, has there been any lockouts or any strikes or any contentiousness that have wound up in a shutdown?
What's been the difference the last, I guess, maybe 3-4 years?
Well, you tell me.
A new commissioner, a forward-thinking commissioner.
Yeah,
a forward-thinking commissioner.
To a degree on that, yes, but
that's why
they also had
John Collins is huge.
But they also had the previous commissioner as well, and they had labor peace through most of that tenure while he was in there. So, on the one hand, yes, I do concede that point about the new commissioner, but they also had a lot of labor peace for a long time under the previous one. So, and why? It's because they had their come to Jesus moment, and that's why they realized, geez, you know, they come back that the fans were just disgusted, and for 3 years it showed. You know, it, like you said, it took a home run derby to get the fans to come back. You know. The league is going to face this at some point. And it's just, they've reached a point now where there's no need to be having battles over salary caps anymore. We know it's in there to stay. The best players are getting paid just like they always did. Everybody knows that. For God's sake, even the depth players are doing pretty damn well. Okay, because hey, you can have a salary cap all you want. That doesn't stop teams from overpaying for marginal or mediocre talent. You know, that I said that when they implemented this a dozen years ago, and I continue to be proven right. Okay, so that's never going to stop. So, you know, you've got to reach a point now where it's like, okay, enough of the contentiousness, enough of the butting heads, enough of the mudslinging. Sit down in a damn room and just sort this out. You can sort this all out so easily now. There's no need to have this. There's no need for Bettman to stir up a hornet's nest, especially when you're saying, oh, we'll go to China in 4 years. You know, there's no need of it.
But there's also plenty of issues on the other side, right? You have Donald Fehr, who's, you know, he's a hardline. He's from the school of Marvin Miller. But you also have the Players Association, which every other month there's a story about infighting and kind of things going on internally that's not right. So, I mean, the players, as we've known for a very long time, the PAs have had plenty of issues that's really kind of affected them getting better deals along the way.
Sure, but what can also improve that is if you have the lot of those better players, okay, stepping up and taking full-on leadership roles. Maybe they are doing that right now. You know, maybe guys like Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin and Steven Stamkos and John Tavares, maybe these guys are stepping up and are starting to make their voices heard and are taking on more leadership roles, but we don't know. We don't know if they're doing that. And for the longest time, the best players just very quietly kind of kept their mouth shut and, let the executive director do all the talking.
Except for Chelios.
Yeah. And when they let him off the leash, nice family you got there, Mr. Penn. Maybe a shame if something happened to it. Like put him back in the car.
Yeah.
Bad Chelly, bad.
Yeah.
So
that's some chili.
Oh boy. So, I mean, well, I think we can all agree that, 2019, the players are taking the early out in the CBA. And then they're going to have a year and hope to God they can avoid another damn lockout. I doubt it. I had my lockout fund started. I've been saving into it for the last 2 years. So it's just like, at least I'll be prepared for half a season. And if that doesn't work, hey, they're hiring Johnny McDonald impersonators down here at in front of the Confederation building. So maybe I can get in there. I drink scotch. John A. drank scotch. I can do that. And that's what I think of my opponent's position.
Sounds like me on a Friday night.
There you go. Anyway, that's my rant. There you go.
Good work, Lyle.
Thank you.
Did us all a good favor.
Yay.
So money. What are we doing? Well, there's a lot of funds going on. I don't know what the hell we're doing here. Lack of arbitration cases. A lot of people going to money. Everyone's settling. Lyle, it seems like 145 at a bar. A lot of people settling at the last minute.
That's the way it goes now,
isn't it? Though,
with arbitration, that's the way.
We're talking about arbitration.
Oh yeah, and in bars. Well, in bars since time immemorial, my son. Yes, even back in the '80s, back in my day, that's what they did too. Everybody settled at 145. Because let's face it, if you were still there at 145, close to the closing time, you had to pretty much take what you get. Yeah, because if you had gotten what you wanted, you would have been out of there much sooner. Just saying.
There we go. Sounds like a plan.
Where's the wisdom from an old fart? There you go.
Here we are, kids.
Yep. But yeah, no, this is the way arbitration's pretty much become now. I mean, most players file because they want to set a deadline. They don't want it dragging out throughout the summer and into training camp. So they set this up as a deadline. The two sides negotiate, and then it's usually a last minute thing. The Tatar thing got a little bit interesting, I have to say, when he went through the process, but then very quickly, bingo bango, he's re-signed before the arbiter reaches a decision. And I dare say now the rest of them are probably going to be a smooth sail. I don't know. Do any of you guys see any potentially contentious ones of what's left coming up? I really don't think so.
I didn't know where the hell's the list at.
Yeah, if you go to the PA website, there was this kind of deal. I mean,
okay.
You figure the bigger ones that are left. You got Connor Sheary with the Penguins. They'll settle.
Of course. They settled Mullen, they'll settle with him.
Yeah, Granlund and Niedermeyer could be Niederreiter could be interesting with the Wild, because I'm sure both want nice long-term deals, and it's a matter of Chuck Fletcher trying to figure out his cap structure going forward. You get Calvin DeHaan of the Islanders on the August 2nd, and Nate Schmidt of the Golden Knights. I mean, there's nothing. I don't think there's any that are going to get really crazy. I could see all of them settling either before they get in a room or within that time frame after an arbitration hearing before the arbitrator comes up with a decision, like kind of what happens sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's very rare that you see a guy go through arbitration and he gets awarded a contract, and even rarer still that they get awarded a contract and the team walks. It has to be over what, like, was it $4 million for them to be able to walk? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we had a couple of years ago, had Hoffman there, the Senators. He went through arbitration, got awarded a 1-year deal. Usually when they go through that and they go through that the whole arbitration here, and it's usually pretty nasty, and it becomes, well, that's the first step to that player being out the door when he becomes eligible for free agency again. But Hoffman sucked it up, took the award, and he's still with the Sens, and he's a key part of their future, I think.
He got a nice extension too. So
yes, he did. Yes, and a good contract too.
As a Pens fan, Sean, your thoughts on the Dumoulin deal?
Yes.
Look, he carried a pretty Scotty, I know how you're going to react to this, but he carried a pretty big load in the playoffs with Chris Letang out, and did very well in that spot, being boosted up on the back end. And look, if you look at defensive men contracts around the league, that's kind of the going rate for a Brian Dumoulin type, and he's only 25. Mm-hmm. And in a couple of years, if he continues to play like this and improve, it could turn into a very nice contract on that team. And I mean, their blue line's pretty settled for the next several years, at least their top four going forward. So I'm fine with it. He's done a nice job, and everyone remembers that 2012 draft when he came over, or did he come over? No. I forget. Did they draft him? Or did he? Yeah, the trade with Carolina.
Yep.
And it turned out really well. Yep. Yeah, the stall trade. Yeah, exactly. That's right. They drafted Mata and they traded for Dumoulin in there.
That's right.
And they also got Pouliot too. So yeah, he's turned into a really nice find and a really good guy is kind of stepping up in the lineup and really developing well.
He really came into his own, I think, in the playoffs last year, and it just carried over. So that was a terrific deal on their part, and they get him locked up for his prime years. That's for sure.
Will Butcher apparently is a thing, and he said that he is not going to play for the Colorado Avalanche. He's going to go free agency. First off, man, Colorado really can't catch a break. Second, their puppet government is going to fall. Third, what will 2017 edition of Matt Gilroy do in the free agency market?
You mean Jimmy Vesey?
Oh, geez.
Hey, listen, if he turns out to be like Jimmy Vesey, I mean, that could be whoever gets him. That could be a pretty good move. Jimmy Vesey's look pretty promising there with the Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, look, they both guys, Butcher and Vesey, and this is all within their rights.
Yep.
So fans can get all uppity all they want, but this is their right. He didn't want to sign. He waited out the time period. He won the Hobie Baker this year, and now he's going to take himself to market and be able to choose where he wants to go.
But I have to wonder how much did the performance of the Avalanche over the last 2 years have to play in that. I mean, Vesey's case, it had nothing to do with the Preds because he just wanted to play back east. He wanted to play for an Eastern team. He didn't want to go to Nashville. But he also wanted to play for a good Eastern team, hence the reason he didn't re-sign with Buffalo.
And for a guy who went to Denver and saw how this team was formed and saw how they started to collapse and just see the infighting and management, I'm sure that put him off a little bit too.
And looking at the future too. I mean, if they're going to trade Matt Duchene anytime soon, it's Landeskog, it's McKinnon, Tyson Barrie, and that's pretty much it as far as the younger kind of guys.
Tyson Jost is okay.
Well, he's
unproven. Okay.
He's unproven, so
he's got potential. Yeah, Zadorov has some potential as well.
But yeah, certainly if he stayed and signed with the Avalanche, he'd get a hell of a lot of minutes this year, I'm sure. Yeah. He'd definitely jump right into the lineup there, but he's he wants to go somewhere to win. And how old is he? He's like 23, something like that. So take a short-term deal somewhere and get himself to UFA status and for a second contract and cash in if he plays well.
Absolutely, and again, I got to tell you, man, I really don't think Joe Sakic knows what he's doing. Well, I think he's trying. I really do think he's trying his best. But as a general manager, he was a great player.
Oh man,
because I'm sorry, that's brutal. This is brutal what's going on here. He lost the Ryan O'Reilly trade. That was bad enough. So now he has to win the Matt Duchene trade, which is, but he's holding out, hoping to get this big deal. The other teams are going, yeah, Duchene's a nice player. Oh, we really want him. I mean, David Poile really wants to get him, but he's not giving up anybody from his top four to get Matt Duchene. He's just not. And I don't blame him. I mean, it was that top four that got his team into the Stanley Cup final. So obviously, for good reason, he's not going to part with any of those guys. But, nobody's going to pay this huge asking price. So here's Sakic. Now he's stuck. And here's Duchene, who has been expecting to be traded, still hasn't been traded. It could happen in September. I mean, hell, Phil Kessel got traded not once but twice, and the first time happened in a September trade. So, I mean, it could happen, but it's very possible that he's going to start the season in Colorado and now what are you going to do? You got to suck it
No.
up here and try and okay, well, now I've got to try and improve my play to make myself look more enticing. But meanwhile, the team's imploding all around me. It's such a mess there after they looked so promising 3 years ago.
And the partners for trade partners at the moment, at least, are drying up. Like you said, Nashville's not going to part with any of their top four. The Islanders, they may. I don't know if they have the cap space to even take them on at this point. But I don't know if they'll get cooled.
They've got the depth in prospects and in draft picks, but let's face it, they lost their best trade chip. They lost their best trade chip when they sent Hamonic off, and they tried. As much as Sakic denies it, the word, as everybody knows, was Hamonic and a first.
Yep.
And Sakic said no. And so they okay, fine. Well, off to Calgary with them. And so who are you going to get? I don't think it's Duchesne. Maybe you can use those picks. Maybe you can go find somebody else out there. But I don't think that's enough to get to pay that asking price for Duchesne.
Who would you rather at this point? Would you rather have Joe Sakic or Greg Sherman as GM of the Avalanche?
Oh, Greg Sherman.
How do we know Greg Sherman hasn't been running the operation this entire time?
Because we
like George Costanza when he got locked out of his office and he crawled through the HVAC system. And
we had
weird moment there
for our 76-hour coverage of the expansion draft. We had cardboard cut out Greg Sherman on, and he was very muted in his responses and steadfast. Didn't want to rip anybody, much like Sean Leahy hasn't gone on a shoot interview on Yahoo yet. But that'll come out in the book 10 Things I Hate About Greg Wyshynski and Other Trail Mixed Tales.
All trail mix related. All 10 are trail mix related.
Yeah, all 10 are trail, and it's just and also hotel room etiquette.
Yes. Yeah. Not liking the hotel room temperature to be above 65 degrees. BS.
Exactly. However, he will make addendums to it for bar etiquette and food etiquette. So.
That changes regularly.
Yes.
Depending on the bar and the situation in the company.
Exactly. I hope Greg knows we're kidding. He's been ducking us for years. So here we are. Greg Sherman as the head of the Colorado Avalanche. Craig Billington should be the new GM of the team, for Christ's sake, and it'll make moves here at people.
What a mess there. What a bloody mess.
But hey, Lyle, it's reminiscent of the Oilers not too long ago.
Oh, big time. Big time. And it also puts me in mind of the Canadians back in the late 90s, same sort of thing. Let's keep hiring from within. No! Damn it. Yeah.
Don't worry, Elaine Vigneault will be there soon again after Julian gets fired. It's fine.
Yeah, because they're starting to run No, Patrick Waugh.
Oh God, that's so.
It won't be Alain Vigneault. When Julian's run his course and he gets run out of town on a rail, they'll bring in Patrick Waugh and he'll just burn that mother down.
Then Carey Price walks by Patrick Waugh disgusted and
says, "I played my last game here in Montreal," and here we go, and the circle of life is complete. God.
Oh God.
I really don't think I'm going to see the Habs win another Stanley Cup in my lifetime. But as I said, hey, it was a good run. It was a good run.
Well, at least you got PK.
Yeah, thanks.
But Lyle, don't worry, we got Philip Forsberg.
Okay, Sean. Any Penguins trades you wish that they could have taken back?
Yeah, they traded a first rounder for Alexei Ponikarovsky a couple of years
ago. I remember that.
Ooh, yeah.
And I also think Luca Caputi was part of that deal, who at the time was like a hyped up kind of prospect. He scored in his first game, which I think was in Montreal. There was talk, he's going to be the winger for Sid, and obviously that didn't pan out. So, and they had 2 Stanley Cups since, so it all worked out in the end.
It all worked out in the end.
To be fair, wait, hold on a minute. Well, he got traded to Pittsburgh for Martin Skula and Luca Caputi.
Yeah.
So
his name is Luca.
And Luca Caputi has played the last 2 years. Actually, he hasn't played since. Yeah, he actually is retired. He played his last 2 years in the Allsvenskan in Sweden and is an assistant coach with the Guelph Storm.
Hey, good for him.
At 29 years old.
His career went Caputi, let me tell you.
Maybe he's got a future as a coach, though.
He played 35 total NHL games.
But the Carolina Hurricanes can praise him, Alexei Ponikarovsky, because the trade that they had to the Devils, Ponikarovsky going to the Devils from Carolina, was for Jacob Slavin. A pick that turned out to be Jacob Slavin.
Oh, ouch. Oh, could the Devils use him now? Oh, my Lord. By the way, can I say that the Slavin contract, a work of art
We
by
talked about
Ronnie
that last
Franchise.
week. It was a great
Well
deal.
done. Oh, I still love that. It's just, that's the way you do it, kids, right there. That's how you do it. Ronnie Franchise, now that's a great player who is becoming a great general manager. That was just a fantastic contract.
How do you like Carolina, Sean? As a city, as a state, and as a hockey team.
I love me some Raleigh Times. I love me some Brits. Two great bars that we had fun at during.
Raleigh Times sounds like a medieval
All-Star
times, a redneck medieval times ripoff.
Yeah, they did tractor jousting.
I love it.
Now I would pay real money to see that.
Isn't that
Tractor
really just a
jousting.
demolition derby? Tractor jousting.
I look, man. How do you not like what they're doing there? It remains to be seen if they'll be a playoff team this year. But to me, looking at the roster now and kind of how those younger players are developing, the fact that they have a living, breathing goaltender who can stop pucks in Scott Darling.
You mean Eddie Lack wasn't the answer?
Yeah, Eddie Lack of saves is what I.
You went there.
But I definitely expect them to be a team hovering around, one of those wild card spots at least this year. They may get in the playoffs, but they have some great young players who are developing nicely. They bring back Justin Williams, who a good veteran presence, who's good for at least 15 goals at least this year. Lee Stempniak seems to quietly put up 15, 20 goals everywhere he goes. Mm-hmm. Obviously, their defense, like we talked about, Slavin and Falk and Hanifin and some other young kids there is nice. And Darling's going to be an interesting one because we saw the potential there in Chicago, but that was in a backup role to Corey Crawford. So now he's the man. This is Cam Ward's going to be in his last year in Carolina. He's going to be relegated to be the backup job, and Darling is going to get the full load. And it's going to be curious to see how he handles 55, 60 games a season compared to what he's played in the last couple of years with Chicago.
But if he can handle that, oh man, then I like their chances. Then if he proves to be the answer between the pipes, then watch out, because with Sebastian Aho there and that kid's just gonna. I mean, talk about a kid who had a quiet, but he was really overshone. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of overshadowed by Matthews and Laine. But I mean, he put up some good numbers. He started slow the first couple months, and then he really picked it up. So they've got themselves a future superstar there.
And almost maybe just importantly for that franchise is the fact that Jeff Skinner's really turned things around, really gotten past those concussion issues that really hindered him for several years. And it's crazy to think that he's only like 25 years old. He's like one of those guys that feels like he's been in the league for 10 years or so, but he's still very young. Mm-hmm. And it's great to see him being back to being a productive player.
By the way, if you're scoring in home or even if you're alone, Ponikarovsky had 7 goals and 7 assists last season for Kunlun Red Star in the KHL. Mm-hmm. So, there you go.
The Pony obviously gave his best years to the Leafs.
Yeah, no, obviously. That shows. I mean, if he can't be top scorer for the Kunlun Red Star, I don't know what he can do at 37 years old. All right. Well, if anybody got anything else? Bueller?
No, I'm good, man.
You good? No, Sean, we're going to give you a little last word here. Take down anybody at Yahoo you want. I am all for that.
Are you like Mean Gene, just holding the mic, waiting for me, the mic to explode?
Let's bring him in right now, ladies and gentlemen. The shining lights, Sean Leahy. Sean, what do you got to say about your going up against Greg Wyshynski at this year's SummerSlam?
Oh, brother, let me tell you something there, brother. Oh, gonna cut a promo on just everyone at Yahoo. Is that what you're trying to say?
I hope it sounds a little better than that. you sounded more like an upset uncle than let me tell you. Oh.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of one of his lines from back in the day. Was
the cream always rises to the top? Yeah, dig it.
Was his line like something about like these eyes, brother? These eyes.
Oh, I'm sure he had a lot of crazy.
He had so many of them. Oh my God. Yeah.
Why isn't there better 30 for 30 out of him? My God.
I know. That would be fascinating.
Well, and they could also talk about his baseball career too, getting drafted.
Yes. Yeah, he was triple A that he was in it the Reds organization?
It was the Reds.
Yeah.
It was the Cardinals, and then he got traded to the Reds or picked up by the Reds.
That's right. He started with the Cardinals and then was the Red. But yeah, he was a triple A ball player.
And the back of his baseball card, whether it was purported or not, saying that he got a better swing when he dropped the elbow. So I don't know if that was foreshadowing or someone put that there post haste, but
These eyes, by the way, was the catchphrase of the Guess Who.
Yeah.
Not Randy Savage.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
He didn't need any pukesters cheering for him here, cheering for him there. That was when he had his feud with Hogan. So there you go.
Could anybody have gone ahead and transcribed those promos to make it look any kind of sense? Like,
you just had to let them go, man. I just love the fact that he come into that cream rises to the top. He just kept pulling these little coffee creamers out of nowhere and flicking them at me. Gene. It was hilarious. It must have been like a dozen of them. He just it's like it was a
I might have found
Uh-oh.
a transcription of the cream rises to the top.
Okay, hit it.
So I'm just going to do a couple of the Randy Savage parts here.
Here we go.
Nothing means nothing. I can't do it as Savage.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Nothing means nothing, man. I'm talking about all the way to the top. Yeah. I'm justifiably in a position I'd rather not be in. But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah. Macho madness. Yeah. More to offer than President Jack Tunney thinks that I got. Yeah, let me tell you something right now. Card stacked against the Macho Man Randy Savage in WrestleMania 3. Let me say it. Yeah. Let me say it out loud. Let me point to the president of the World Wrestling Federation. The Macho Man Randy Savage is not happy with your decision. Yeah, I am the cream of the World Wrestling Federation. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, you, Mean Gene Okerlund, you know that I'm the cream of the crop. Okerlund does his thing. Savage goes, yeah, do outside interference. Yeah, in the moment of glory. Yeah. And now I'm living a nightmare, and I am the cream. And now not only the Intercontinental Champion, the Intercontinental Heavyweight belt must fall, but the World Heavyweight Championship belt. Because Hulk Hogan, yeah, I am the cream. Yeah, the cream of the crop. And there's no one that does it better than the Macho Man Randy Savage. On balance, off balance, doesn't matter. I'm better than you are. And yeah, I'm talking to everyone in the World Wrestling Federation. I'm even talking to President Jack Tunney. Yeah, I'm on my way, and nothing is going to stop me. Nothing's going to stop me. Mean Gene says something. Yeah, she's on the outside of the ring. Does she interfere in matches? Yeah, nothing. Zero. Pure athlete. Yeah. And I've been, maligned to the top to the bottom because they can't handle the Macho Man Randy Savage. The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better. Yeah.
Bravo, sir. Bravo. Well done.
I think his yes are akin to Hulk Hogan's brothers.
Oh God, big time.
It's a nice stopping point.
Brother. But they don't lay down the rhymes. Doth the roads.
Doth the roads.
Hard time. But doth the roads and his family. I loved listening to Dusty Rhodes. Dusty would just go off, and it was just a symphony of Texas twang. It was beautiful.
It's like, Dusty, you're facing the 4 Horsemen. Yeah, baby, automotive, baby. What are we talking about? Like, he was the NWA Savage for just nonsensical promos. But
oh my God. Yeah. And you never knew how he was going to be dressed. One time he come dressed as a pimp, then he's dressed in a 3-piece suit, then he dressed looking like he is literally the son of a plumber. Then he
stole Huggy Bear's outfit one time. Like, it was weird.
He was in the late 70s, big time. Big time.
Now Cody Rhodes is tearing stuff up in Japan. It's great. All right.
But there was only one American Dream.
Exactly. Cody Rhodes is actually the American Nightmare. He nicknamed himself. So, like, that's pretty. That's
oh boy.
fancy.
I mean, come on. At least you know. what's his name there? His oldest son had gold
Oh,
dust
Gold
going
Dust,
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Runnels.
Still does.
Yeah, oh yeah. Hey, whatever works, baby.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Sean Leahy. The shoot interview went great. I think top notch.
All the inside dirt, all the juicy gossip.
Everything you wanted to know about this.
Oh
oath,
man,
this oath hostile takeover.
I'm telling you.
The bloody coup.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah. I just find it funny that Greg, as he said, has come full circle and he's back writing for AOL again. That's just
That is odd.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, actually, he's actually using those free 20-hour discs to power up the internet on a daily basis now. He just gets them. He gets them in the mail every single day at this point.
Oh man. But they're great for skeet shooting.
And,
They are.
and for
They blow up
coasting.
real good.
I'm so glad that that Yahoo pucked that. What? Okay, they're changing the name. Back to Fan House, really?
Oh my lord.
Oh, no. Well, that's a terrible name. Well,
Fan
whatever.
House with Puck Daddy Greg Wyshynski.
Oh, there it is.
Copyrighted trademark nickname. There you go.
Oh, he better do that now, or else he's
Better-
gonna.
yeah, act quickly,
He better
Greg.
now, or else when he starts writing for Vice, he's gonna have to use another name.
Well, he can't use Dave Lozo.
No,
That's
he
already
can't-
taken. So.
He won't be writing for Vice. He'll be cutting videos.
They,
right.
yeah, right.
It's true.
Oh my god, this is horrible. This,
But it's all like, but Sean, when we talked about it earlier, Sean made it a good point. Like the Score and TSN, like they're just using tweets and calling it a news story.
I know.
like,
that's just
That's worse.
pathetic.
Well, that's
That-
why the Athletic is doing well because people are now
Yeah.
realizing good
People
journalism,
still-
good
yes.
storytelling is worth paying money for, as opposed to, hey, here's 7 tweets. Here's how people reacted to Game of Thrones. Like, I don't care what Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo 69 on Twitter says about Game of Thrones. It doesn't
Nice.
matter to me.
Yeah, I hear you. No, it's pathetic. But that's the route they're going, isn't it? I mean,
Well, it's gonna. To me, I think it's gonna blow up pretty quickly. It's gonna be like the pets.com of this era.
oh God, I hope so. I hope so. I want to see that trend crash and burn so much. I really do, because you're right. It's hurting good sports journalism, not just hockey. Good sports journalism, period.
.com bubble, housing bubble, blogging bubble. That's how it's gonna blow up. 3 faces of fear. All
Three
right.
faces of fear. 3 faces of Foley.
Double bubble. Double
Double
bubble.
Bubble bubble, baby. All right, Sean, Lyle, it's been real. It's been fun. We enjoyed you guys.
This was fun. It was good talking to you again, Sean.
You too, Lyle.
If I don't get a chance to talk to you again, enjoy the rest of the summer, my friend.
You too. I hope you bring back the mustache.
Hey, it's
I'm
not a
gonna campaign
mustache.
for that every single time I see you.
It's not a mustache. I'm telling you, it's a
Bring it
nesting
back.
home for a caterpillar, and it's working very well.
He says, "Bring it back. Bring that beat back, Lyle."
And
It's
you
right
got
here.
the cocaine. You got the cocaine goatee. So you're good.
Right there. See? I'm 55. What do you want from me? I'm not doing
You're
just for men. That's
55?
creepy.
Seriously?
Yes. Yeah. You
Yeah.
want to see the birth certificate?
I'll have what you're having, man. I wouldn't go 55. Seriously,
Scotch, my friend.
not just
Stay,
pumping your
stay,
tires.
stay thirsty, my
Oh,
friend.
And remember,
Mark
kids,
knows.
Preserving
Mark
you.
knows.
That's
Right,
it.
brother?
That's how I stay so young.
Scotchy Scotch.
Yeah, Mark 67. I mean, geez.
Exactly. He looks great for a man who's 94.
you can. By the way, you can also find Sean Leahy blogging on his new blog, limesoleary.com. And it's going to be a great time. But he's going to land on his feet, folks. It's going to be.
He
It's gonna be
absolutely will. Unless,
be fun.
yeah, big time. Let us all
It's gonna be
know so
fun.
I can put you into my favorites there, my friends.
And he did the smart thing by keeping his name as his Twitter thing, so he doesn't lose that blue check mark when changing it.
Well, yeah, you don't put your employer in your Twitter handle. That's come on. You can't-
Exactly.
Come on.
There you go. All right, Sean, Lyle, it's been fun. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a good week.
Have a good
Bye,
week,
boys.
y'all.
Next week. Sean, we'll talk to you. I don't know, maybe next week. Who knows?
Go USA.
There you go.
World Cup tonight.
USA.
There he goes. All right, guys. Thank you.
Talk to you next week.
Bye. Bye, sweethearts. There he goes. Lyle, Sean Leahy. Fun times. Mark, hit us with some shout outs.
Well, shout out to Sean and Lyle. Sean for joining us. Shout out to John and Mama Pitanzo for they're at the Nationals game tonight. That's why John couldn't join us. So they're enjoying themselves at the Washington Nationals versus I don't know who they're playing game. And I think that's about it for now. I don't have any more shout outs. I'm just excited to sleep in my own bed tonight.
There you go. Sleep in your own bed. Underrated situation. sleeping in one own's bed. Unless you need a new mattress, and then you'll go to every hotel you want. I'll give a shout out to Moving and a diss to Moving because it's great and horrible at the same time. Shout out to Limes Leahy for coming in. Shout out to Lyle for bringing us great insight. That's it. That's all I got, kids. That's all you need. So for Mark with a C, I'm Scotty Waz. Take care of yourself and someone else. This has been Face Off Hockey Show on the faceoffhockeyshow.com. And that's also our Tumblr. We're part of the Face Off Hockey Show media faction. Good times happening there. Twitter, Face Off HCKY Show, and the Facebook, FOHS Radio. Until next week, when we'll have the whole family back, I think. Minus Sean, of course. He did his 1 year thing. He's done for the next 3 years. So that's it. We'll talk to you guys next week. Peace. That'll hold the SOBs. I mean, he didn't really give the good stuff, but I got the DMs to prove it. So there's that. We can put that out in our book. 10 things we didn't like about Yahoo's merger with AOL.
Yeah.
Oh, I should stop the broadcast, right?